Local Government Traditional Council. Sir, you are welcome. Please, a round of applause for our distinguished guests. Of the Nigerian Defence Academy. The first inaugural lecture was held in the year 2008, and the inaugural lecturer was Professor E.C. Kembu, and he is a professor of biology. The second inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy that held in the year 2010 was presented by Professor B.C. Onusurika, and he's also a professor from the biology department. The third professorial lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy held in the year 2013. This was presented by a professor of history in person of Professor O.E. Tangan. Following this was the fourth professorial inaugural lecture, which held in the year 2018, and this was presented by Professor J.M. Nwadozie, who is a professor of chemistry. Please, a round of applause for these professors. Fifth inaugural lecture held in the year 2018 in the month of March, and this was from a professor of political science in person of Professor D. Alabi. The sixth professorial inaugural lecture was presented by Professor S.O. Okeniyi, and this was done also in the year 2018, and Professor Okeniyi is also a professor of chemistry. Seventh inaugural lecture was conducted in the year 2018, and the inaugural professor was Professor A.O. Ahmed, a professor of history, and we have him in our midst this morning. Please, a round of applause for him. Also presenting his professorial lecture in the year 2019 was Professor I.O. Daju, who is a professor from the Department of Defense and Security Studies. Ninth inaugural lecture conducted in the year 2019 was from a professor from the Department of Mathematics, and this was presented by Professor S.C. Oswala. Please, a round of applause for these professors. It's not easy to present a professorial inaugural. 10th on the list of inaugural lectures of the Nigerian Defence Academy was a professor from the Department of Economics in person of Professor C.I. Ewakibu. Also in 2019, we had the 11th professorial inaugural lecture presented by Professor U.A. Tar, who is also a professor from the Department of Defense and Security Studies. 12th inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy was presented in the year 2020, and this was presented by Professor J.K. Arabu. a professor from the Department of Geography. May I also inform you that 13th Professorial Inaugural Lecture was presented by a professor of cyber security in person of Professor F.M. Oboleka in the year 2020. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 14th inaugural lecture was presented by Professor J. Okpanachi, and this was presented in the year 2021, and the professor is a professor of accounting. 13th professorial lecture was Professor IBRAHIM, followed by the 16th, which was Professor Saidu Garba. Permit me, ladies and gentlemen, to inform you that the procession is on its way. Immediately they step into the hall and dignitaries have taken their place on the high table, and the academy maze has taken its place on the stand. We will be taking the national anthem. The 17th inaugural lecture was presented by Professor O.A. Babatunde, while the 18th was presented by Professor M.M. Adeyemi, also a professor of chemistry. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the procession is on its way to the hall. May I request that as the procession steps into the hall, we be upstanding in honor of the academy maze. May I also make welcome in our midst Mrs. Adeola Olatoye, the coordinator, Nigerian Defence Academy Officers' Wives Association, ably represented by the Deputy Coordinator, Mrs. Aisha Bello. You are welcome, ma'am. The inaugural procession today consists of heads of departments, heads of centers, distinguished professors of the Nigerian Defence Academy, respected inaugurated professors, principal staff officers of the Nigerian Defence Academy, the academy mates, the academy mates, gracefully carried by the academy mates Flora, Mr. Friday Akabot, heads of departments, heads of centers, distinguished professors of the Nigerian Defence Academy. next batch of the procession, we will be having principal staff officers of the Nigerian Defence Academy, the Academy adjutants, the inaugural professor for today's lecture, the Academy registrar, the acting Academy provost, the Commandant Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General O.C. Olatoye, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, accompanying the special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may we remain standing as we take the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The band, please. Please take your seat.
Says G, presenting the government. Just so that you know this, you're the same thing. You're a citizen coming. Listen, they done PhD in chemicals relation to the
The special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, ably represented by the Secretary to the Government of Nasarawa State, Dr. Labaran Shuaibu Magaji, the Chief Host, the Commandant Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General O.T. Olatoye, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello. The Acting Academy Provost, who is also co-host of this event, the Inaugural Lecturer, Major General Professor S. IBRAHIM, retired. The Permanent Secretary, General Service Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, our respected royal fathers here, Cadets Brigade Commander, Academy Registrar, Vice Chancellors present, the Academy Librarian, Deans, Directors, Heads of Centers, and Heads of Departments of the Nigerian Defence Academy, Honorable Commissioners, distinguished professors, commanding officers, and chief instructors present, the Academy Adjutant, senior military officers both serving and retired, senior civilian, academic, and non-academic staff of the Nigerian Defence Academy, President, Historical Society of Nigeria and her entourage, members of the National Guard, members of the National Guard Angels, family members of the inaugural lecturer, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I am Dr. Hawa Mary Iboje, an Associate Professor of Clinical Psychology in the Department of Psychology, Nigerian Defence Academy. And today, the 9th day of February 2026, I am most honored to serve as anchor for the 22nd Professorial Inaugural Lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy. Please may we have upstage the former Academic Provost of the Nigerian Defence Academy. Please, sir. I welcome you all to the J.N. Garba Hall, the venue for the 22nd inaugural lecture of this prestigious institution. Today we gather to conduct one of the sacred traditions of academia, the Professorial Inaugural Lecture. This academic event is an occasion where a professor showcases his area of expertise and specialization in a detailed lecture. It is an opportunity for the professor to present his research endeavors and to demonstrate his contribution to knowledge. Today's event will be by no means different, as our inaugural professor in person of Major General Professor IBRAHIM, retired, a distinguished professor of military history and a well-decorated and accomplished officer, hopes to bring deep insights and showcase his contribution to knowledge in his lecture titled Power, Patriotism, and Legacy, a historian's reflection on leadership values and the fate of a nation. I urge you, therefore, to relax and absorb the valuable insights today's lecture promises. May I at this point respectfully request the acting academic provost to invite the chief host of this event, the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, to deliver his welcome address. The acting academic provost, ma'am.
Special Guest of Honor, His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, ably represented by Dr. Labaran Shaibu Magaji, Secretary to the State Government of Nasarawa State, the acting Academy Provost, our host, the inaugural lecturer, Major General Professor S. IBRAHIM, retired, our respected royal fathers here present, the representative of the former Chief of Army Staff, former commandants of the Nigerian Defence Academy, the representative of the coordinator, Nigerian Defence Academy Officers Wives Association, the third form desk officer, principal staff officers of the Nigerian Defence Academy, the cadet brigade commander, academy registrar, visiting vice chancellors, the academy librarian, deans and directors, honorable commissioners, distinguished professors, the academy adjutant, senior military officers both serving and retired, senior civilian academic and non-academic staff of the Nigerian Defence Academy, President, Historical Society of Nigeria, members of Nigerian National Guard Angels, the participants of Strategic Management and Policy Studies Course 7 of 2024, family members of the inaugural lecturer, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen of the press. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, it is my honor and privilege on behalf of the management, staff and cadets of the Nigerian Defence Academy to warmly welcome you to the 22nd Professorial Inauguration Lecture of this great institution. Today's event, taking place on this auspicious day, marks yet another significant milestone in the intellectual and professional life of the Academy. I am particularly delighted to welcome our special guest, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State. Your Excellency, your presence here today is a powerful affirmation of the enduring bond between enlightened political leadership and the pursuit of knowledge as a foundation for national development. We are deeply grateful for your support for education, and we thank you for honoring our invitation despite the demands of your high office. Today, we gather to celebrate scholarship, service, and legacy through the inaugural lecture of Professor Major General S. IBRAHIM, retired, a professor of history, an experienced military officer, and an accomplished scholar. His topic, Power, Patriotism, and Legacy, a historian's reflection on leadership values and the fate of a nation, promises to engage our minds and challenge our understanding of the intricate interplay between individual character, national service, and the broader currents of history. The topic resonates deeply with the core mission of the Nigerian Defence Academy, which is to cultivate officers of integrity, intellect, and commitment to the Nigerian state. As we prepare to listen and reflect, there is a sense of anticipation that this lecture will not only illuminate the principles of leadership and patriotism, but also inspire each of us to consider our roles in shaping the destiny of our nation. The choice of this theme is both timely and profound. At the moment, in our national journey, when questions of leadership, civic responsibility, and national cohesion dominate public discourse, a historical reflection of power and patriotism offers us an invaluable lens for understanding where we have been, where we are, and where we ought to be going. History, as Professor IBRAHIM will remind us, is not merely record of past events, but a reservoir of lessons that shape leadership, values, and determine the destiny of nations. The Nigerian Defence Academy takes pride in its professors, whose scholarship bridges theory and practice, whose insights enrich both the military profession and the wider society. This inaugural lecture series remains a testament to our commitment to rigorous academic inquiry, intellectual freedom, and the integration of military professionalism with scholarly excellence. It is through such engagements that we continue to refine our understanding of leadership in its moral, strategic, and patriotic dimensions. The special guest of honor, distinguished guest, today's lecture also honors a life of service. Professor Major General S. IBRAHIM embodies the rare convergence of military experience and scholarship. His reflections are therefore not abstract but grounded in lived experience, discipline, inquiry, and deep love for our dear country, Nigeria. We are confident that his lecture will challenge our assumptions, provoke thoughtful debate, and inspire renewed commitment to leadership anchored by values and national interests. As we listen to him, I encourage us all to approach this lecture not only as an academic exercise, but as a call to responsibility. The fate of a nation, as history teaches us, is shaped by the quality of its leaders and the values they uphold. May today's discourse strengthen our resolve to serve Nigeria with integrity and courage and enlightened patriotism. Once again, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome to the Nigerian Defence Academy. I wish us all a most rewarding and intellectually fulfilling inaugural lecture. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, our Chief Host, sir, for your well-delivered welcome remarks. Next on the program is the reading of the citation of the inaugural professor. There's a slight change from the program you have in front of you. To read the citation, may I invite Dr. S. Adejo, a senior lecturer with the Department of Defense and Security Studies of the Nigerian Defence Academy, to proceed to the podium for the reading of the citation. May I also respectfully request the inaugural Professor, Major General Professor S. Ibrahim to step forward for the reading of the citation.
An abridged citation of Major General Professor Shaibu Ibrahim, retired, FSS, DSS, MSS, GSS, PA, MA Unijos, PhD, University of Abuja, PGD, MSMPS, Nigerian Defence Academy. Major General Professor Shaibu Ibrahim, retired, is a distinguished Nigerian academic and a retired military officer from Nasarawa local government area, Nasarawa State, North Central Nigeria. He completed his primary and secondary education across Asaba, Gusau, Akure, Benin City between 1973 and 1985. He earned the Bachelor of Arts in History in 1989 and a Master of Arts in History in 1992 from the University of Jos. Committed to scholarship and teaching, he obtained the postgraduate diploma in education from the Tai Solari University of Education, Ijebu-Ode, and a Doctor of Philosophy in History from the University of Abuja in 2007. He further enhanced his expertise in strategy and public policy with a professional master's degree in strategic management and policy studies from the prestigious Nigerian Defence Academy in the year 2025. Military and academic appointments. Major General Professor Ibrahim, retired, was enlisted into the Nigerian National Guard and commissioned as a second lieutenant in 1993, later receiving a direct regular commission as lieutenant in the Nigerian Army. Due to his dedication to education, he was deployed to the Nigerian Army Education Corps, where he held various appointments and postings, establishing a distinguished military career. He gained national prominence following his appointment as Director General of the National Youth Service Corps. His career in the Nigerian Army included numerous key appointments and postings. Military assistant to the Director General of NYC from 1996 to 1999. Staff Officer Grade 1 Military History at the National Defence College from 2004 to 2009. Senior Instructor at the Nigerian Army School of Education between 2009 to 2011. Commandant of Command Secondary School Suleja between 2012 to 2014. And he served as Director Mobilization Military at the Nigerian Army Heritage and Future Center from 2023 to 2024. Chief of Research and Development, Testing and Evaluation at Tradoc, Rona. Major General Professor Ibrahim, retired, made a lasting impact in the Nigerian Army, particularly within the Nigerian Army Education Corps. His leadership was guided by hard work, innovation, prudence, selflessness, and a strong commitment to service and service to humanity. These principles defined his various appointments and contribution until his retirement in January 2026. He joined the Nigerian Defence Academy in 2000, which is over 26 years ago. He served as a lecturer in the Department of History between 2000 and 2004. He was posted back as senior lecturer and doubled as head of Department of History and World Studies from 2014 to 2018, where he led successful accreditation of all departmental programs. He also functioned as Desk Officer for TED Fund and the need assessment under 3 successive commandants, attracting numerous institutional projects through his integrity and accountability. Between 2018 and 2019, he was appointed Pioneer Registrar of the Nigerian Army University Bureau. His tenure oversaw the successful takeoff of the university and the matriculation of his first cohort of students within the year. Major General Professor IBRAHIM was appointed the 18th Director General of the National Youth Service Corps on the 10th of May 2019. His tenure was marked by significant reforms that strengthened and repositioned the scheme in line with international best practices. He curbed the mobilization of unqualified graduates and expanded NYC's revenue base by revitalizing garment factories and farms nationwide. He also prioritized skill acquisition, establishing centers across the country to promote economic empowerment and local production. Contribution to teaching and learning. Professor IBRAHIM has put in decades of contribution, contributing his quota to teaching, research, and community service, which are the basic roles of a university lecturer. He taught several courses, too numerous to mention, at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels. He also successfully supervised several PhD holders and MA graduates in and outside of the Nigerian Defence Academy. As a scholar and prolific writer, Professor IBRAHIM has to his credit over 50 publications in both national and international journals. He was at several times the editor-in-chief of the Journal of History and Military Studies of the Nigerian Defence Academy. He was also a member of several academic committees, too numerous to mention. His community service revolves around community intervention, skills acquisition programs, lecture presentations, and facilitation of trainings. It is important to note that as a part of his community service, Professor IBRAHIM established an e-library for free research opportunities to researchers in Nasarawa Town and its environs. The e-library provides free ICT training for students preparing for JAMB CBT examination. This he was able to achieve by sourcing for contributions and support from all and sundry. Professional affiliations, honors, and awards. Major General Professor IBRAHIM retired is a highly decorated military officer and scholar with multiple professional affiliations, including fellowships and memberships in national and international bodies. He has received numerous military, academic, and community awards in recognition of his leadership, integrity, and service, notable for his contributions as Director General of the NYSC. In 2022, Professor IBRAHIM was honored as the Youth Humanitarian Icon of the Year by the Yoruba Youth Assembly and was conferred the traditional title of Mene Pao Piam Wi Wan of children by His Royal Majesty King J.N.K. Giniwa. Marital status and hobbies. Professor Ibrahim is happily married and blessed with children. His personal interests include watching football and staying informed on current affairs. Professor Ibrahim is an accomplished scholar, academic and a visionary leader, and an administrator par excellence, whose distinguished career seamlessly bridges scholarship, military professionalism, and public service. The special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, the Commandant of the most prestigious military university in Africa, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to present to you a distinguished historian and scholar, Major General Ibrahim Shaibu, retired, the inaugural lecturer of today.
The special guest of honor, sir, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now welcome the 22nd inaugural lecturer of the Nigerian Defence Academy to deliver his lecture.
Professor, thank you very much. We have largely simplified my presentation. The special guest of honor, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, the General Abdullah Esme, ably represented by my brother, Barrister Labaran Shubaibu Magaji, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, the Acting Academic Provost, the Registrar. Please permit me to respectfully acknowledge all the dignitaries present for want of time. With humility and utmost honor, and gratitude to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I stand here today, the 9th of February 2026, to present the 22nd inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy, NDA, the foremost and the most revered military university in Africa. In undertaking this onerous task, I am at the onerous burden I am carrying on my shoulders as a senior military officer in Nigerian Army, to be privileged to attain the academic rank of a professor of military history. While I acknowledge this is not an easy task, it is now even more obvious to me that delivering an inaugural lecture before this multitude of personalities is far too herculean task. The title of my inaugural lecture is Power, Patriotism, and Legacy, a historian's reflection on leadership values in the faith of a nation. The choice of this topic is informed by my research engagements in the past 26 years, during which I undertook research on this asset and my experiences connected with the realities beyond theories. The choice was also informed by the development crisis Africa and Nigeria is facing because of the personal choices leaders and followers make at all levels, and the cumulative effect of this on the development of the country. This phenomenon has undoubtedly rubbed off on how political power and authority is understood and applied to the multifaceted challenges the country is facing. In this lecture, I hope to deploy the Chinese metaphor of walking on two legs to demonstrate how my professional training as a military officer and my scholarly engagements as a historian have defined my understanding of the relationship between power, leadership, and legacy in Nigeria. This brings me to my discussion on destiny and my early career choices. I don't want to belabor you on that aspect because most of my early history has been covered by the citation. On the aspect of conceptualization of what power, patriotism, and legacy entails, as well as military leadership. The essence of it, because of time, is how I have applied power, patriotism, legacy, and military leadership. How I accept and use these concepts to guide my action in achieving what I've attained in life. And that's the essence of me bringing out those values. This will bring me to the crux of the matter of my discussion, which is on working on two legs, a military officer and a professional historian in the task of nation building. The special guest of honor, sir, distinguished audience, my training as a military officer taught me the essence of a friendship life and unwavering loyalty for my country. The value of perseverance and sacrifice, the importance of commitment to duty, and the ethos and purpose of professionalism. These are imbibed in the course of my career in the military. I have also learned the importance of organic solidarity, which is the esprit de corps, and the meaning of the live and let's live. After the efficiency and model associated with Spartan and regimented socialization in the military, I have imbibed values required to courageously grapple with the infinite contradictions of my context as a Nigerian. Similarly, my training as a scholar, and particularly as a historian, taught me the importance of being deliberate and passionate about set goals. The intrinsic value of the past being the father of the present and the danger of a single story. As a historian, I worry about legacy and how one day all I did and whatever I'm doing now will be unveiled and judged by posterity. This deep concern for the past and its relationship with the present and even the future underscores the accountability that is the basis of my sense of legacy. It is also a core of my flair for excellence in all I do as a human being. Indeed, it is at the very center of my personal philosophy, as I will elaborate in the remaining paragraphs of this lecture. These virtues inform my actions in the course of my career journey as an officer and an academic. Here I try to show how I have deployed my training as a military officer and a professional historian to make a modest contribution to the profession and humanity at large. This brings me to my discussion on loyalty and honor to my country. In the course of my military career, I have held a number of positions which involve the wielding of power and authority. This is part and parcel of the nature of military training, involving postings from time to time. By the nature of the military, therefore, the more one excels and gives a good account of himself, the more one is saddled with tasks. The popular adage in the military says, my earliest major posting of significance was to the Institute of Army Education, where I served as a research officer in Lagos. By virtue of my designation and job schedule, I was directly involved with the Institute's capacity building activities, where we researched the production of journals, articles, news for the Nigerian Army that aided our personnel in their promotion examinations. I was later posted to National Youth Service Corps in 1996 as a military assistant to the Director General, then Brigadier General S.M. Dule. This was one of my earliest encounters with the Directorate, and it was happening in my formative years as a young officer in the Nigerian Army. As the DG of the Director General, I was responsible for preparing all the daily routines and schedules in addition to controlling the traffic of visitors who regularly trooped in to see me on personal and official matters. By my schedule of duty, I was normally retained for a better part of each day. I soon won the heart of my boys because of my honesty, hard work, and due diligence to multitasking competencies. From 2000 to 2011, routine military transfers took me from the NYC to Nigerian Defence Academy, Kaduna, the National Defence College, Abuja, the Nigerian Ministry of Education, Ilorin, Headquarters Nigerian Education for Lagos, and the Command Secondary School, Suleja, in Niger State. Prior to this period, I had my first and second degrees in history. Therefore, enrolling for a PhD program in the University of Abuja was relatively easy. I took this decision because of what I considered the nature and character of my terms of duty. I observed that I was circulating around multi schools and research institutes, and my job schedules were mentally tasking because they were basically research and academically inclined. It was also about this point in my career that I resolved to be more intentional about lecturing, even as a military officer. In particular, my posting to Nigerian Defence Academy between 2000 and 2004 and Nigerian Defence College between 2004 and 2009 provided added impetus to this decision and my personal drive. At both places, I contributed to numerous review of curricula, lecture modules, programs, and I was actively involved in research, teaching, and supervision. My schedules of duty in both places afforded me the opportunity to mentor many cadets and young officers, who today are outstanding officers in their own rights. In addition, I met, interacted, and made good friends with very senior military officers from Nigeria and other African countries. As the commandant of Command Secondary School, I had first-hand experience in managing mentoring scores of future generations of Nigerians, imbibing in them the culture of hard work and being responsible and patriotic citizens to our dear country. Today, some of these students that pass through my hands are doing very well in their respective careers and professions they have chosen. And finally, wherever I go, I encountered many of them. As it is NYC, whenever a talk comes, they come around. Sir, I was your student. Today, when I go around military units, I see my officers, mostly senior colonels, getting to brigadier generals now. It is indeed a team of pleasure. My second point to the Nigerian Defence Academy between 2014 and 2018 was quite eventful, instructive and humbling. Both at the personal and professional level, I arrived at NDA at a moment of great changes in the academy under the leadership of Major General M.Y. Aegis, whom I am privileged to host him today. Professor A.S. Nwambo as academic provost and then Professor Nigerian as registrar. These two personalities were the drivers of the ambitious strategic plan that expanded the horizon of NDA during the period under review. The proven turnout led to what I am today. I had only spent a year after my arrival in the academy when I was appointed head of the Department of History and War Studies. In terms of academic rank, I was a senior lecturer. I received my appointment later in 2015 at a time that the department had a huge backlog of postgraduate students that were not making progress with their studies and research. In addition, the Department of History and War Studies was not active in the Historical Society of Nigeria, which is our professional body that was established in 1955. Indeed, only few members of the department were registered members of the association. My first task was to seek affiliation of the department to the parent body and then persuade all academic staff to revalidate their membership of the Historical Society of Nigeria. I also approached the leadership of the Historical Society of Nigeria on a number of issues regarding history research, methodology, and capacity building, including the availability of these senior academics as examiners to the rapidly increasing numbers of our postgraduate students. Within a period of 7 to 12 months as head of department, I was able to fast-track the graduation of scores of these students, including some junior colleagues in the department and even police officers with the help of research persons for the Historical Society of Nigeria. The Department of History and War Studies also faced the National University Commission's accreditation exercise under my tenure as HOD. The task of preparing the department for a successful outing rested squarely on my shoulders. I impressed on the staff of the department the need to take the exercise seriously. I provided principled and purposeful, both collaborative leadership through which we sought and brought the overwhelming population and contribution of colleagues to the department. In 2017, it was quite impressed. The IEC was quite impressed by how well organized the department was and a general sense of commitment to duty of the entire staff. The Department of History and Geography did not only pass the accreditation exercise, it did so excellently well. In order to encourage and upscale research activities in the department, I set up and initially funded a departmental journal, the Journal of History and Military Studies, the first for any department in Nigerian Defence Academy. I also authorized the first departmental international conference on national security and development, which attracted previous scholars from across institutions of higher learning in Nigeria and outside the country. The first by any department as well in Nigerian Defence Academy. The unique feature of this conference was the heavy presence of historians and the council of our rival professional association. I was fulfilled because the conference provided some positive outcomes. First, papers presented at this outing resulted in publication of 2 authoritative volumes on national security and national development. Some of these of my publications you will see them there on display. Secondly, the performance of the department enthralled members of the Council of Students of Southern Nigeria so much that the country was given a hosting right for the 18th National Congress of the Society. This was a rare privilege indeed. Before I was posted out of NDA, the visibility of the Department of History was to be soared, and staff of the department began to be more actively involved in the affairs and activities of the professional body on a much more sustained level. I left Nigerian Defence Academy to the newly established Nigerian University as registrar in 2018. I was already assistant professor at the Department of History and also when the university was just taking and starting. I played a key role in attracting and recruiting quality manpower to the university. I was also fully involved in the development of a foundational program, which kickstarted academic activities in the university. The first university academic goals and strategic plan were developed under my administrative aegis. I administered the living matriculation oath to the first students of the Nigerian University. In my roles, I consider my post in the National Youth Service Corps headquarters in Abuja as Director General going after YMU as an act of divine providence. This is one of the highest artillery tours of duty and appointments in Nigerian Army Education Corps are the most strategic national assignment given to our corps officers. As a professional historian, I saw an opportunity to contribute my quota to the deepening of the unity of the country by advancing national integration and I dutifully took it. The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari had only recently launched a national rebirth program that was anchored on the declaration of the Nigerian youth for national development. This clarion call was planted as a challenge to the National Youth Service Corps members in a way that required immediate attention. For me, as a senior military officer and an academic, I saw a privilege to identify with this program, and through that, contribute to the patriotic zeal and perish, which was a unique feature of the administration. Against this backdrop of the above, I had no other choice but to charge of the NYC on the 10th May 2019. I was determined to turn the focus of the organization by making it relevant in national development efforts. To effectively do this, I developed a vision and mission which was anchored on 5 pillars. 1. Sustaining the effective utilization of the potential of core members for optimal benefit. Pursuing a technological-driven organization to deepen effective service delivery. Improving on the welfare and security of core members and on staff. Strengthening existing collaboration with stakeholders. Reinvigorating the NYC ventures and skills acquisition and entrepreneurship development program in line with the NYC Act for a greater impact. It was with this policy trust that I made the modest remarkable strides that my tenure of office in the NYC headquarters is often applauded for a relevant generation. It is time for the first time in the history of the NYC during my tenure that we generated the sum of 1.2 billion naira, which we paid to the foundation account. Also, We also established a television and a radio, and as well as a reform for the National Service Corps. So we made slow implement progress and to report the otherwise the greatness must be within these 2 years. I was promoted in digital development in 2022. This was the last promotion of my career as an officer of the Nigerian Army. After that, I had 3 other postings across parts of Nigeria. I was at the training and doctorate command travel with Niger State from 2022 to 2024. The Nigerian Heritage and Future Center 2023 to 2024, and then finally to the Nigerian Defence Academy since August 2025 to date. At TADO, I functioned as the Chief of Research and Development Testing and Evaluation, and I coordinated annual research and development exhibition for the Nigerian Army, and have used that opportunity to promote collaboration between the academia and the military. I have invited research persons from Nigerian Defence Academy, permanent among Professorial, Dr. Ben, Professor P, and others, and the CM, Professor Simon, the President Vice Chancellor of the University. They also part and parcel of promoting R&D development in the Nigerian Army. During my tenure, we two of the world testing regulation and travel. I was also on the writing committee that produced the book on the participation of the Nigerian Army in the economy. The promotion of that book that was passed by the Lecture of Rights was an eye-opener because we later came to realize that institutional memory was favorable on the contribution of Nigeria of the armed forces in the fight against our contribution in economic, in Nigeria, and the Senegal. And the fallout of the research, the result was quite mind-boggling. It was again recommended on the fallout of the research that there is a role for the Senegal, where the foreign government should always be celebrated for the equal countries. Prior to the proceeding of my last question back to the Department of History and War Studies, I was briefly at the Nigerian Army Research Center, Abuja, for concerning strategic management and policy study course, facilitated by Headquarters Nigerian Army and the School of Public Studies Nigerian Defence Academy in collaboration also with the Nigerian Army Research Center. I was also a director, modernization, monitoring at the Nigerian Heritage and Future Center. Strong case to have resident senior academic researchers on sabbatical to drive our programs and activities and add value like it is done with other Nigerian research centers. Because I'm not in the center to realize that there is a need to have a similar components of the academia, the Nigerian Heritage and Future Center. With that, it will ginger further research and promote effective collaboration between the military and our similar counterpart. With that as it may, the news of my return to Nigerian Defence Academy was received with joy by my colleagues in the Department of History and War Studies. Soon afterwards, the case of the professional assessment earlier done in 2021 was reactivated by the former commandant, IBRAHIM, and the former academic provost, Professor Professorial. My papers were sent out and massive on this development on the 26th of September 2025. I was pronounced full professor of medicine history. Thus, I awarded me grateful to the Nigerian Defence Academy. Coming back to my discussion on institutional building, the special guest of honor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the course of serving my fatherland as a military officer and an accomplished academic, I have taken deliberate steps to prioritize institutional building, through which I move it as a personal philosophy to make behind every office I have occupied better than I met it. As a historian, my philosophy is anchored on my personal conviction that human beings are best judged not by what they say, but their actions and what they do in positions of authority. I conceive each position of authority I have occupied as God-given opportunity to serve humanity and not myself or close associates. In which I was deeply concerned about improving people's lives by connecting with them at the most basic level and all ramifications. This has been the basis of the support and cooperation and legitimacy I have enjoyed from both superiors and subordinates wherever I went. It also remained my greatest strength and the underlying impetus and drive to confront and conquer all obstacles on my way to serving my country. In addition to being HOD as earlier discussed, attending, I was appointed tax officer Teaching Education Trust Fund from 2013 to 2018, where I contributed immensely to the infrastructural and academic development of the academy. At the end, I got commendation from the Commandant and academic progress for demonstrating capacity, courage, pragmatic leadership. My contribution to institution building continued at Nigerian University as registrar. I was committed entirely for effectively liaising with the IUC for the approval of the academic books, Volume 1 and 2 in the master plan of the university. Others as contained in lecture before you. Lecture booklet before you. In addition to my earlier discussion, my greatest contribution to institution building occurred during my tour of duty as a digital IUC. The position not only imposed on me elements responsibility which I had to greatly discharge. For me to further the movement of the skill, I launched one of the most comprehensive and decisive work against organizing certificate forgery and the attempt to compromise the skills in the election process, trying to bring in unqualified graduates to the service. In addition to retaining the image of the director through institution on ethical misconduct and corruption, I established the NYC Museum, as earlier said, that was to serve as institutional repository and memory of the directorate. The museum encompasses relics and symbols of people and events that shape the historical trajectory of the scheme right from its inception in 1973. The idea of the museum was dear to my heart, perhaps because as a citizen historian, I am aware of the importance and significance of preserving the past. And related to the museum, I also discovered other gaps, one of which is that of documenting the achievements of the scheme and those of the past leaders. To address this, I commissioned 9 books, pages, which were eventually published and launched. Undoubtedly, these books added value to the social media of the NYC. 7 of those books, which claims go to the Nigerian Defence Academy, were applied to my Department of History and Histories, were published on the site of my department. Some of those books are there. You have the research to NYC and the health sector, NYC and education, NYC and national education, NYC and the fight against COVID-19. What NYC members. The 10 members played a significant role in the fight against COVID-19. 10 members were the first to produce face masks in this country. They produced face masks and disinfectant soap were involved in gyms and so on. So in fact, most of these face masks were taken to markets and given to people. And contract was given by the federal conduct authority for 10 members to produce this face mask. The 10 members, a medical doctor, Simon as a tailor, so and so on and so forth. These 10 members have a lot of potentials. And most of these potentials, which I use as one of the current program, pushed me or the need for the government to come out with what we refer to as the NYC Trust Fund. This NYC Trust Fund will research into a book. Myself and Professorial published a book on the NYC Trust Fund. And we also followed through on the need for the government to please pass this bill, because we have researched fully into the advantages of this program. And I'm happy that the professor, who was a member of the National Youth Committee, who fought for the bill along with us. We pray that it will come to fruition, because it will help to bring 2 members for the generate and put the budget for them, skills and so on and so forth. In order to retrieve the NYC for better performance, I computed control think tank to critically look at the operation and the directorate to advise accordingly. The think tank drew up many far-reaching recommendations. The think tank drew up many far-reaching recommendations on the basis of which I mounted a media place and public enlightenment campaign on the alternative ways of funding the NYC. Because, just as I said earlier, with the NYC Trust Fund, the NYC will be properly funded, the core members will be properly trained on skill acquisition, because we have researched and discovered that with our stakeholders, like the Bank of Industry, the Metis Foundation, Access Bank, among others, the little capital they provide to those companies that will give them skill income. Some of them have established businesses
that they are now multi-millionaires. For those that are serious, we say if such capitals are available to the NYC and all the core members are properly trained, so that at the end of the service year, they are giving startup capitals. I can assure that millions of Nigerians with the knowledge of the core members will be taken out to run the employment market. I appeal to the Nigerian government to please take a look at this. The scheme also constructed the ultra-modern ICT center at the NYC headquarters. One of the areas have modestly impacted over time, and particularly at the NYC, in the champion on the improvement of my professional association, the Historical Society of Nigeria. I have also believed that both institutions are engaged in tasks leading to one patriotic goal, that of defending and upholding the integrity and glory of Nigerian nation. While the Nigerian Army is committed to protecting the sovereignty of the nation, the Historical Society of Nigeria is devoted to preserving the history of our country, in addition to instilling a deep sense of historical consciousness in the considerations of Nigerians. Undoubtedly, this similarity of mission objectives suggests greater synergy, collaboration, and partnership, which for a very long time may follow. When I invited the Council of Historians of Nigeria to the annual National Conference of the Department of History and World Studies in 2017, the plan was to begin this dialogue in a much more practical and effective way. Since that initial interaction, I have been at the forefront of recruiting military officers for the Historical Society of Nigeria. As a DJNYC, I facilitated the life membership of dozens of these officers. This was in addition to registering other colleagues from our department and other institutions of higher learning in the private sector. I have since benefited immensely from this relationship as a DJNYC, since I relied on the technical expertise of the Historical Society of Nigeria and some of its senior members to drive my vision for the scheme. The Historical Society of Nigeria and the NYC have published several books on the NYC along with me. Some of the books are on display. Just I also said earlier, I also serve as a director of modernization at the Nigerian Heritage and Future Center. Then this will take me towards the final lap of my lecture, which is teaching and learning. As pointed out when my citation was read, during the course of my academic journey, I have taught several courses, published several books, articles in journals, chapters in books, and supervision of several students. For details of this, you can find them in Appendix 2 of the booklet that will be given to you. I have also written books, especially on the Afro Nation. The outcome of my research on the Afro Nation goes to show our relationship with the Kanuri people, our relationship with the Warafa Confederacy, in the process promoting intergroup relation and the harmony amongst our people. So for want of time, I have also written several books on the relevance of military history. The relevance of military history, because as a commander, you must have a requisite knowledge of what's fought in the past to guide you in the battle you are about to embark upon. And also, I have also written on the military and society. There is a need for both the society and the military to be on the same, has to be a synergy, because in the ongoing battle against insurgency and banditry, there has to be a synergy between the citizenry and the security agencies, because we cannot do it alone. So there has to be synergy. So as the police will say, when you see something, you will say something. Then what is my contribution to community engagement and social responsibility? I stand before all of you here today to proudly declare that I am that rural Afro boy who was born to a hard-working peasant family several decades ago. And throughout that time, I wandered through the wilderness of professional postings across the country. I kept close links with my community, and it has remained a major part of my itinerary. Indeed, as I move further away as a result of duty calls, I remain closer and closest to my people. My community was and has always remained part of my plan throughout my journey. In the military, such things falls within the framework of social responsibility, a core component of emotional intelligence and civil-military relations. As part of the military policies of strengthening civil-military relations, each senior military officer was usually supported to make a major intervention in his community upon promotion rank of Major General in Nigerian Army. When I qualified for that intervention, I partly utilized mine and with support from spiritual individuals to establish the IBRAHIM Foundation for Education and Development, which has since been expanded to house entrepreneurship skills, acquisition center for educational and educational gallery. The other part of the intervention was used to construct access roads in the street leading to the center. The entrepreneurship and expressive centers partner with federal, state, and local government agencies in national state and has been involved in the training of youth in the community for free. It also serves as a major computer-based center for free training for our primary and secondary schools in the community. In the future, we hope to expand this operational base to cater for more youth and in the immediate and distant communities. The Arts Gallery has continued to attract primary and school children and secondary students who go there for excursions. Indeed, it remains a major place for experiential learning to these future generations of Nigerians. The contribution to the community and institutions won several awards and commendations. One of also given several titles, one of which was mentioned by during dissertation. The interpretation of that along the language is that I am a protector of the youth. I've also been honored with the title of Senating Yaki of the Kingdom. I'm also served as a Turaking. I'm also the honored as the Onajo of Abu, Sadoki Noku, and so on and so on. So, in addition to all this, I have also published, just as I said earlier, I have also promoted intergroup relations and so on and so forth. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as may be claimed from the above, I have deployed my God-given opportunities in the course of my career to impact lives best as possible as I could. For me, power and positions of authority are not ends in themselves. They are just means and opportunities to make a difference. In my case, as a professional historian, I am schooled to understand that the relationship between power and authority is better seen and appreciated if it resonates positively with the people in their lives and in their daily struggles and aspirations. I am passionate about how I should be remembered by my fellow men. This is the foundation of my sense of probity, fairness, and compassion. It is the basis of my discipline as a person. It has defined my conduct and attitude to life. It is also my greatest fortitude and strength. My closing remarks on the future of the military and academia in pathways to a common goal. The special guest of honor, sir, very distinguished friends and families, ladies and gentlemen, as I begin to close this inaugural lecture, I'd like to emphasize some key points, the basis of which I make some far-reaching recommendations. Firstly, it is necessary to remind us that whatever we become on earth is ordained by God, our Creator, our greatest benefactor. When we relate this to leadership and power, it becomes even clearer. True leaders are never and have never been powerful leaders in a real sense. They are leaders that inspire and empower their subordinates and followers. Secondly, leadership and power must have their roots in the people. They must be rooted in the collective aspirations of the people where they truly belong. The point that power has a context has been adequately explained in this lecture. Thirdly, how we want to be remembered is exactly a decision we must make while still in active service as citizens of this great country. Nigeria offers limitless spaces and opportunities for citizens to make a difference, no matter your position or status in society. I have navigated the military and traversed the academia, bearing in mind the popular adage that I have one life to live. My sense in all of this is couched in a simple question: exactly how do I want to be remembered by my fellow men? This realization places heavy burden of realization on me. It defines how I see the opportunities destiny has thrown up to me throughout the evolving dynamics of my career as a military officer and an academic. In walking on two legs, I have prioritized humanity. In navigating the challenges of the two professions I have traversed in the last 3 decades, I have encountered all manners of Nigerians. In courageously coasting through the challenges of being an officer and a scholar, I have also met and interacted with many people encountered many favors and must add many disappointments, too numerous to mention. In keeping with my promise to keep my commitment with humanity, I have held on to my faith in God for both guidance and direction. Fourthly, as leaders, it must also be remembered that a good name is worth more than gold, and what bestows that good name is essentially the number of lives we have touched or transformed by our actions, and the position changes we have used our status or positions in life to generate in society. The special guest of honor, sir, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have been privileged to travel both the military profession and academia. I have literally experienced two professions in a lifetime and survived their rigors and dynamics. Thus, both professions have resonated with me in a way that I feel compelled to make some serious comments on. These comments are intended to ignite a conversation across the profession. The military and academia are engaged in the battle to save Nigeria and the world at large. Indeed, while the military trains its members to guarantee the vulnerability of the country's territory, the academia and its practitioners generate knowledge for developing the world and mankind. In the final analysis, both are comrades in the nation-building task and must learn to have a common front through greater synergy and a much more robust partnership and collaboration. To achieve this, I make the following recommendations to create an innovative pathways towards a common goal and a great future. 1. There is a need to deliberately bridge the gap between the military and the academia in the area of knowledge sharing and utilization of research development. 2. Both the military and academia should harmonize their research efforts through the establishment of joint research hubs that will coordinate and integrate research efforts for national development. 3. Most research collaboration between the armed forces and academia and research centers are ad hoc and largely not streamlined. It is important to always formalize collaborations and partnerships through signing of clear-cut memorandum of understanding that would outline the terms of collaboration and the commitments of both parties involved. 4. The armed forces should ensure that research institutes and centers prioritize the policy of having very senior research officers, fellows from the academia or sabbatical at intervals to assist in structuring of research and capacity building activities in the military. There is also the need for the armed forces to come up with a clear policy of personnel in the education corps who by choice want to remain as academics throughout their career. The existing policy on utilization of military officers, scholars on retirement should be further strengthened to ensure that the nation continues to benefit from their wealth of training and experiences long after they have retired. And I also want to add that I just want to appeal to the federal government, they need to reconsider the passing of the NYC transport for better performance and enhancement. The special guest of honor, sir, ladies and gentlemen, my references are shown on the screen. They bring me to appreciation, acknowledgements. I owe a debt of appreciation to some individuals who made this day possible. First, permits me to thank the Commandant, Major General Oti Olatoye, for providing the resources for making today's exercise possible. The same gratitude also go to the Deputy Commandant, the Acting Academic Provost, the Registrar, all professors, the committee members for making this day possible. I want to appreciate the special guest of honor, my governor, who and my royal fathers, who have stood by me all the years. For the first time in the history of the NYC, the governor led the deputy governor, past governor of National State, our royal fathers, his cabinet, to the NYC headquarters for a singular reason, that they want to pass a message that they are behind their son. Sir, I'm happy that I've not let you down. And I'm most grateful. I am most grateful for the honor, for always standing by me in all I do. All I have achieved is as a result of your counsel, your support all the time. And all this I will not take for granted. I want to thank the Emir of Kefi. I want to thank the Emir of Nasarawa. I want to thank the Andrew of Doma, who happened to be my senior union president at the University of Jos. My Emir, Serkin Goku, Shumada, all of you, I thank you all for giving me this honor. So I want to further appreciate the faculty, my faculty, first, and then also my department. The history department, my relation has spanned with it 26 years. I don't want to sound to be selfish. I see it as the best in the Nigerian Defence Academy. In terms of cordiality, relationship, excellent. I will never forget to mention Professor Tangban, Professor Ahmed, Professor Mahmoud, Professor C.N. Uba, and so on and so forth, for giving me the privilege of receiving me in the year 2000 and sat me down to advise me. And the advice guided me to what I am today. So I will ever be grateful to you. Your unity, your understanding, your solidarity in the history department is second to none. And I pray that please, this must be sustained. I want to specifically also thank our former commandant of the Nigerian Defence Academy. One of whom is here that have really played a role in me. Major General Emma is retired. Major General M.T. IBRAHIM, Major General A. Abadi. These were commandants that I worked closely as a desk officer for 3 years. First, I don't think there's any person that has served 3 commandants consecutively. I had to be taken away from General Abadi because I had to be appointed by the Chief of Army Staff as Registrar of the University. Sir, I want to thank you immensely. I'm so happy for honoring my invitation to making me what I am. I'm also ever grateful to Major General M.I. Yusuf. When he was the registrar, he coordinated and really supported us immensely. For the Social Society of Nigeria and to its members worldwide, I say thank you all for the support and encouragement throughout my academic journey. I will not fail to mention Professor Simeon Ogogo, the Vice Chancellor of University University, Professor Okwe, and then our lion, the President of the Society of Nigeria, Professor Zara Wage. You all are highly recognized. I want to thank all my friends, Anil Tijani, Dr. Ibrahim Kana, Ahmed Kana, the CEO of the Kana family, the Kakas, and several people, members of people from their foundation, and the entire kinsmen of Nasarawa State. I'm so honored that you all have really kept my tradition and monitored my progresses and always encouraged me to do more. I thank you, Honorable Ali. I thank you for the support you gave me as a member of the House Committee on Youth and Sport. I thank you all. My gratitude also go to my classmates, the National Guard that are here. Our wives, we call them the energy angels. My classmate, participant of the strategic management and policy study course, I can see the president is here, Major General Ibinawa retired, and some of you are there. I appreciate you all for giving me this honor. It's indeed a pleasure. And the governor, let me mention this for the last time. I know we share the same name. He's my namesake and a very close friend of mine. I feel highly honored and thank you very much. I also want to use the opportunity to congratulate you on your induction as a senior advocate of Nigeria. All of you, I thank you very much, and the Almighty Allah bless you and take you all back to your glorious destination. Before I finally leave, please, I want to leave 3 nuggets for your reflections. Slide, please. The 3 nuggets on leadership. It's not there. Let me just go through. 1. Leadership is not about control. Neither it is about service. True leadership is not about power, but about empowerment. Leadership is not about manipulation. It is about inspiration. Inspiring people is the highest form of true leadership. Thank you and God bless you all.
you so much. The special guest of honor, sir. His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, ably represented by Shuaibu Labaran Magaji, PhD, SAN, Secretary to the State Government of Nasarawa State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you all agree with me that the esteemed inaugural lecturer deserves a standing ovation. Please, a standing ovation for our esteemed. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir, for your immense contribution to leadership and nation building. Next on the program is the decoration of the inaugural lecturer. May I humbly request the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General O.T. Olatoye, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, assisted by the Acting Academic Provost, to please step forward for this function. Please, a round of applause for the newly decorated inaugural professor. Thank you, sir. Congratulations to our 22nd inaugurated professor of the Nigerian Defence Academy. As you may have noticed, the inaugural lecturer has touched lives in the course of his life as an academic. May I, at this point, welcome comments from mentee. I welcome Major General M.I. Idris, retired, former Commandant of the Nigerian Defence Academy, for the first comment. You're welcome, sir. Please, sir, if you can do that in a minute or two. Yes, sir.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Nasarawa State, ably represented by the SSG, the Commandant of Nigerian Defence Academy, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, our Chief Host, the celebrant, General Shuaibu, very senior officers here present, active duty and retired, officers, officer cadets, our royal fathers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, let me recognize my shypot. For those of you who are cadets here, you know what a shypot is. I recognize General Oshino, O.O. Oshino. Thank you for what you did to us, sir. I am immensely proud today to witness this moment in the life of General Shuaibu Ibrahim, a mentee who has not only risen to the rank of general, but has now attained distinguished height of professor. Throughout our years together, when I served here as the 26th commanding general of this esteemed institution over a decade ago, he proved himself a loyal, hardworking, and dependable member of my team. He distinguished himself by rare insights and foresight. This achievement affirms that excellence in military service and academic scholarship are not mutually exclusive, but mutually reinforcing. I feel deeply fulfilled that the decision we took way back in 2015 with my team to open academic pathways for military officers beyond the narrow confines of purely operational roles has borne such rich fruit. Today, General Ibrahim stands as a trailblazer. I congratulate him warmly. Thank him for blazing his trail and encourage him to continue inspiring new generation of warrior scholars. Thank you, Ibrahim. We are proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. May I also invite Colonel R. Aliu for his comment. Colonel R. Aliu, PhD.
Special guest of honor, sir, the commandants, I respectfully acknowledge all dignitary presence. I am Colonel Rufai Aliu. I am honored and delighted to stand before you today as a fortunate and a very proud mentee of Major General Professor Shuaibu Ibrahim, retired. The story of my great mentor, Oga S, as we fondly call him among my peers, dated back to 2008 when I was a lieutenant and he was a lieutenant colonel. Back then, I worked under him as the mechanical transportation officer among other appointments at the Nigerian Army School of Education in Ilorin, while he was staff officer grade 1 logistics. General Ibrahim pressured me and ensured that I secured admission for a master's degree and thereafter PhD. My takeaway from him at that moment include love, the art of writing, dedication to duty, integrity, appreciation, among others. Since then, I've sincerely seen him as my role model. During my PhD program, I find it very difficult to place a call to General Ibrahim. Why? Because he will always ask several questions. Example, what chapter are you at the moment? What level are you now? How much have you spent so far? Etc., etc. So I have to keep on updating him on my progress, and milestones. I spent about 5 years on my PhD program. Even before I concluded my PhD program, General Ibrahim told me to calculate every kobo I spent as school fees. Guess what? He refunded everything to me. Invariably, General Ibrahim sponsored my PhD. I truly appreciate sir. General Ibrahim wanted me to be his military assistant when he was appointed pioneer registrar Nigerian Army University View. That didn't materialize because I was running my program. Eventually, when he was appointed DG NYC, I called and congratulated him, and that was all. I never disturbed him because I'm aware of his busy schedules. The day I defended my PhD thesis, he was among the first I called. When I called to inform him, he said to me, "Get ready, you are coming to NYC as my military assistant." In essence, he never wanted any appointment to hinder my studies. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Permit me to share with you some shocking coincidence between General Ibrahim and myself. After serving under General Ibrahim at the Nigerian School of Education, in 2014, I was posted to BRP, that bookstore in our headquarters, Lagos. The same office General Ibrahim left 2012. In 2019, I was appointed MADG NYC, the same seat General Ibrahim sat in 1996. In 2022, I was posted to National Defence College as Staff Officer Grade 1, an appointment held by General Ibrahim in 2005. Recently, in 2023, I was posted to CSS Suleja as the Commandant and was promoted in 2025 from Lieutenant Colonel to Colonel. The same office General Ibrahim occupied in 2012 and was also promoted in 2014 from Lieutenant Colonel to Colonel. All these were mere coincidence. What a natural mentor. My drive here is his experience in those offices and genuine guidance assisted me to success while I occupy such offices. All along, he kept on encouraging me to make publications and participate in academic activities. In 2022, I was invited by TRADOC, TRADOC NA, as a discussant of a paper delivered by General Ibrahim. Then I started wondering, how can a boy objectively criticize his master? I said, well, it's an academic activity. I went through the paper and discovered only one missing point at my own level. Unfortunately for me, the morning he was to deliver the paper, he called on me and said, add this to the work. Guess what? That was the only point that was missing that I wanted to bring up. Then, at the end of the day, I had to just re-echo the paper as presented by my master, me as a discussant. Relating General Ibrahim to the lecture delivered today, let's start with power. General Ibrahim is a complete gentleman that does not allow power, appointments, or offices to intoxicate him. He still relates very well with people he knew long ago, even better. I remember as DG NYC, we had to search for his primary school teacher in the northwestern part of Nigeria and appreciated him in various ways. General Ibrahim is still searching for that core member that encouraged him to study history in higher institution. I'm very sure NDA in particular history department, will testify that the People's General will always keep in touch no matter how highly placed he is. Patriotism. General Ibrahim is so patriotic to Nigeria. He believes in the unity, peace, and development of our dear nation, Nigeria. He is not and will never be biased in terms of ethnicity and religion. I'm very sure many of us in this hall will testify to this. However, very decisive and proactive, he still gives his principal staff officers and lieutenants opportunity to objectively contribute in making decisions and policies for the sake of growth and development of such establishments and the staff. This showcases his sincere leadership values. In general, Professor Ibrahim so much has faith in our dear nation, Nigeria. Professor Ibrahim have some unique sayings, if you know him very well. Some of them include: 1. What will you be remembered for? Another one is: don't allow your actions today to affect your tomorrow. Another one is: don't put yourself in harm's way. He always say there's dignity in poverty. In Hausa, he will say, "Me dunya," meaning the world is vanity upon vanity. After all, we all die and leave everything behind. Well done. General Ibrahim will always tell you, well done, when and after accomplishing a task. If given an opportunity to rewrite meaning of words in dictionary, I will replace welfarists with Ibrahim and encouragement with Shuaib. I have never come across a welfarist like General Shuaib Ibrahim. He cares about the welfare of everyone around him, especially his subordinates. No wonder he commonly reiterates this philosophy by saying, touching people's lives is what I live for and what I will die for. God bless you, sir, and bless the day I met you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that comment. Next on the program is the remark of the special guest of honor. May I humbly request the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, to invite the special guest of honor for his remarks. The Commandant, sir.
Chief Host, the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General Owatoye, who is ably represented here by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, the Acting Academy Provost, our own dear brother, friend, the Inaugural Lecturer, Major General Professor Shuaib Ibrahim, retired, our dear revered traditional rulers. Permit me, the Commandant, because the protocol here is so regimental, but as a politician, there will be a hybrid of the protocol. Permit me to acknowledge the presence farewell fathers who find time to be here. On the list first, His Royal Highness Dr. Shehu Chinwe Amusa, the third CON, who himself an academician whom I met yesterday in Lagos, and this morning here he is in Kaduna. Thank you very much for coming. His Royal Highness Alhaji Dr. Ahmadu Ali Oga Onaro, OON, the Andomo of Domo, His Royal Highness Alhaji IBRAHIM Usman Jibrin, CON, the Emir of Nasarawa, and the former Minister of Environment, His Royal Highness Alhaji Ahmed Abubakar Sabo, Meloko, and my dear father, His Royal Highness Pastor Samson Gamuriare, the Chumada of the Mada Nation. The representative of the former Chief of Army Staff, former Commandant of the Nigerian Defence Academy, the representative of the Coordinator Nigerian Defence Academy Officers' Wives Association, the Third Front Desk Officer, Principal Staff Officers of the Nigerian Defence Academy, Cadet Brigade Commander, Academy Registrar, Visiting Vice Chancellor, at the risk of sounding biased, permit me to acknowledge the Vice Chancellor of Nasarawa State University, Kefi, here ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Ari, the Academy Librarian, Deans and Directors, Honorable Commissioners, Distinguished Professors, Chief Instructors, the Academy Adjutants, Senior Military Officers both serving and retired, Senior Civilian Academy and non-academic staff of the Nigerian Defence Academy, President, Historical Society of Nigeria, members of the National Guard, National Guard Angels, family members of the Inaugural Lecturer, permit me at this juncture to acknowledge the presence of the former Secretary to the Government of Nasarawa State and now Federal Commissioner, National Commissioner for Refugees, Dr. Ali Tijani, my dear boss, the Federal Ministry of Justice then, and the former Cabinet Secretary, State House, and the immediate past Chairman of the National House Commission, Alhaji Jalal, and our revered Professor of Law, Professor Abdul Karim Kana, another host of guests who come all the way from Nasarawa State to honor our welfarist and academician to the core. Distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, and here on behalf of His Excellency, our boss, our school, our mentor, our leader, a man that is epitomized good work to humanity, Engineer Abdullahi A. Sule, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers and the Commander of the Order of Niger, who will wish to be here personally to honor our dear brother, the Professor Shaibu, but unfortunately he is right now at the villa, serving as a panelist in one of the major discussions going on the economic reforms of this country, whom he couldn't have left that, otherwise would have been here personally. But he decided to send me to this occasion with a message, and I'll go ahead to read his message. It is with profound honor and a deep sense of responsibility that I stand before this distinguished audience today on the occasion of the professional inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy, Kaduna. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the Commandant, Management, Faculty, and the entire community of the Nigerian Defence Academy for finding Your Excellency worthy to serve as a special guest of honor at this highly significant academic and national event. I am particularly grateful for the warm reception accorded me and my team, marked by the finest military traditions, discipline, and courtesy for which this great institution is renowned. Indeed, I am really honored by this reception. I need to commend the presenter of this inaugural lecture, Major General IBRAHIM, retired former Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, a man whose life exemplifies service, scholarship, patriotism, and enduring national impact. I am aware that our own Professor Shoaibu is an accomplished historian, an intellectual of international repute, and a revered and proud son of Nasarawa State. He has continued to make us proud as a state in both his career and professional callings. It is pertinent to state that Professor Shoaibu Ibrahim's journey is one that inspires generation. He represents a rare blend of military professionalism, academic excellence, and moral clarity, and unwavering commitment to national unity. His leadership at the NYSC further reaffirmed his reputation as a reformer, rich builder, patriot, deeply invested in the future of Nigeria. His transition from the battlefield to the classroom and from command to contemplation speaks to a legacy rooted in ideas, values, and service to humanity. The theme of this inaugural lecture, Power, Patriotism, and Legacy, a historian's reflection on leadership values and the fight of a nation, is not merely an abstract concept, but it defines the quality of the leadership and ultimately determines the destiny of our nation. Coming from a scholar soldier of Professor Ibrahim's standing, we can be confident that this lecture will provoke deep reflection, enrich policy, discuss, and contribute meaningfully to our collective understanding of leadership and nationhood. This will also enable us to reflect on the lives and quality leadership provided by our past leaders with a view to inculcating their ideals into our contemporary leadership. As we gather for this all-important lecture, let us not only listen to the presenter, but we should endeavor to take away the salient points which he has listed at the end of his lecture to be raised. I am optimistic that with this professional and career prowess, we will have reasons to appreciate the quality of his presentation and the associated value of the lecture to our nation's special for purposeful leadership. Let me at this juncture commend and appreciate all the distinguished guests, academics, military officers, traditional rulers, policymakers, students demanding schedule to honor today's celebrants. Your presence here is a testament to a high esteem in which Professor Shoaibu Ibrahim is held and to the importance of this occasion. As we look forward to the meat of this inaugural lecture, it is my earnest prayer that its insight will transcend this hall, inspire current and future leaders, strengthen our institution, and ultimately serve the greater good of humanity and our beloved nation. Once again, let me congratulate Major General Professor Shoaibu Ibrahim, retired, on this well-deserved academic milestone. And I thank the Nigerian Defence Academy for giving the platform for upholding excellence in both scholarship and service to the nation. Before I end my speech, let me, at this juncture, also acknowledge and commend the presence of our member representing Nasarawa Federal Constituency, who has been mentioned repeatedly in the course of the inaugural lecture. And I say, may God bless the Nigerian Defence Academy, Nasarawa State, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, distinguished special guest of honor, sir, for your remarks. As it is customary of the Nigerian Defence Academy to honor its special guests by presenting a souvenir, may I humbly invite the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, to present a souvenir to the special guest of honor from the Nigerian Defence Academy. The Commandant, sir. Thank you, sir. May I also humbly invite the Acting Academy Provost for the announcement of the next Professorial Inaugural Lecture.
The special guest of honor, sir, the Commandant, represented by the Deputy Commandant, the Inaugural Lecturer, former Commandant, former Academic Provost, Principal Staff Officers, our Royal Fathers, Professors, the now President, great men of the press, good afternoon. I am Professor N.A. David, the Acting Provost, and I have the singular honor to announce that the train has taken off from FAST and is moving towards engineering. So our next inaugural lecture will be coming from one of our professors in the Faculty of Engineering and the head of department, Mechatronics, head of Center, Innovation and Creativity, in the person of Professor Colonel Imam. The dates for that will be announced in due course. Thank you very much. God bless the Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you, the Acting Provost. Next on the program, I have the privilege to humbly invite the Academy Registrar, Brigadier General Ogunleye, for his vote of thanks. The Academy Registrar.
Special guest of honor, sir, His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Esuli, the Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, ably represented by Dr. Labaran Shuaibu Magaji, Secretary to the State Government, Nasarawa State, the Chief Host and the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, Major General O.T. Olatori, fellow Nigerian Institute of Management, ably represented by the Deputy Commandant, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello. For want of time, kindly permit me to stand on the already well-established protocol. I am Brigadier General O.A. Ogunleye, the Academy Registrar. It is indeed a great honor and privilege to move this vote of thanks at this auspicious occasion of the 22nd inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy. As the Master of Ceremonies has earlier mentioned, an inaugural lecture is a prestigious public and formal event marking a new professor's appointment, serving to showcase their career achievements, research, and scholarly contributions to the university and wider community. It also serves as an inaugural address to introduce the professor's academic vision, highlight social impact, and share innovative work, often in a public forum. This forum has provided Major General Professor S. Schreiber, retired, the opportunity to present his inaugural lecture by sharing his wealth of experience and knowledge with us. And I think he has done this excellently. The lecture was very educative. It was intellectually stimulating and professionally delivered by the erudite scholar. On this note, shall we all give the distinguished scholar, Major General Professor S. IBRAHIM, retired, a resounding round of applause. Permit me to begin this vote of thanks on behalf of the Commandant's Nigerian Defence Academy and the entire academic community by thanking our distinguished special guest of honor, His Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Sule, ably represented by Barrister Labaran Shuaibu Magaji, for finding time out of his busy schedule to grace this occasion. Identifying with Major General Professor S. IBRAHIM, an illustrious son of Nasarawa State, at a time like this, highlights Your Excellency's exceptional goodwill, leadership, and commitment to excellence, which we do not take for granted. We also appreciate Your Excellency's words of wisdom and invaluable contributions to the success of this occasion. I also use this medium to appreciate our Commandant, Major General O.T. Olatoye, for his commitment and continuous support in keeping up with academic culture and excellence in the Nigerian Defence Academy. Thank you, sir, for your visionary leadership, which provides an enabling environment for scholarship to thrive in the Nigerian Defence Academy. I also thank you, sir, for making available the resources for organizing this occasion. The academic branch of the Nigerian Defence Academy shall surely continue to thrive under your leadership. Permit me to extend our appreciation to other dignitaries here present. Our royal fathers are also cited in the audience, the immediate past Chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, who is one of our own, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and other dignitaries here present. We thank you for finding time to grace this occasion. Permit me to also thank the Deputy Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, Air Vice Marshal A.K. Bello, for his leadership and unwavering support to the academic branch of the Nigerian Defence Academy. I also thank the Acting Academy Provost, Professor N.A. David, for providing the enabling leadership that fosters academic excellence in the Nigerian Defence Academy. Permit me to also appreciate the principal staff officers of the Academy, the Cadets Brigade Commander, deans of faculties, academic directors, heads of centers and heads of departments, as well as other senior officers and staff of the Academy for gracing this occasion. I also thank members of the Senate for always holding high the banner of academic excellence in the Nigerian Defence Academy. I congratulate you for being a part of this historic occasion. To other invited guests and colleagues from outside the academy and members of the academic community, friends, family members, and well-wishers of the inaugural lecturer who have come from far and near, we thank you for honoring us with your presence at this occasion. Before bringing this vote of thanks to a close, permit me to sincerely thank members of the Professorial Inaugural Lecture Committee for their dedication and commitment that contributed immensely to the success of this occasion. I think the members of the committee deserve a round of applause. I also thank other staff of the academy, including the band, and all those that have contributed in one way or the other to the success of this occasion, particularly those who worked behind the scenes. You have all displayed the excellence and commitment which the Nigerian Defence Academy is known for. The special guest of honor, sir, the Commandant Nigerian Defence Academy, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this ceremony to a close, may the insights shared today continue to inspire robust scholarship, innovative research, and meaningful service to our dear country Nigeria and the world at large. I wish you all journey mercies to your respective destinations. Thank you all once again, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir. As we gradually come to the close of today's event, permit me to announce that the exit will be in reverse order, with the Nigerian Defence Academy maize taking the lead and distinguished members of the high table exiting the hall first. May I also announce that we'll be taking group photographs in front of the high table in the following order. Pardon me. The group photographs will be taken at the photo stand by the entrance of the former commandant's office. The group photographs will be taken in the following order: inaugural lecturer and the special guest of honor, the commandants, the academic, acting academic provost, and members of the high table. The second group will be the inaugural lecturer and inaugurated professors of the Nigerian Defence Academy. Also, we have inaugural lecturer and the family of the inaugurated professor and the Nigerian Defence Academy officer's wife, coordinator, and her entourage. Also, we have the next group of photographs will be the inaugural lecturer and the NNG angels. We also will be taking the inaugurated professor and senior military officers present. The next group of photographs will be the inaugurated professor and all Nigerian Defence Academy professors. Next on the group of photographs will be the inaugurated professors, friends, and well-wishers. May we all rise for the national anthem of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, please. the recession begins in reverse order. The band, please. The maize will go first. Members of the high table. Inaugurated professors of the Nigerian Defence Academy, heads of departments, heads of centers, deans, directors, please. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with a high sense of achievement and pride that the Commandant, Nigerian Defence Academy, the academic provost, and entire members of staff of the academic branch, Nigerian Defence Academy, thank you for your presence in today's historic event. We appreciate your presence and your company as we marked the 22nd inaugural lecture of the Nigerian Defence Academy. I will wish you very safe journeys as you journey back home. Best wishes and God bless you.